Right when I thought I had it all figured out, they hit me again. Every time I think I've caught them all, two more pop up, and the most unlikely of places. Sometimes they're easily noticeable, other times, not so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Well, I've had it, and I think it's about high time I brought this organization from the shadows into the light. No, we're not talking about S.E.A. today. We're talking about L.E.A. You've heard of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. Now get ready for the League of Adventurers. What do they have in common with the S.E.A.? But more importantly, what are their differences? Today, we're going to find out the answer to that very question. But one of the questions I have, where did they originate? And when? I mean, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers was founded in Puerto Paradiso at Disney Sea in 1538. That was a long time ago. In order to learn the history of the League of Adventurers, we must first journey to their attraction at Shanghai Disneyland, Camp Discovery. Now, for those of you who may not know or need a quick refresher, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers is a fictional, not-so-secret society of world explorers and archaeologists who travel the planet in search of rare, sometimes magical artifacts. Think like Indiana Jones' cinematic universe, except it's not cinematic, it's theme park-iatic. Actually, Indiana Jones is a member of the Society, too. Their presence is felt strongest in lands like Adventureland and Frontierland, but do also appear in other attractions, like the Haunted Mansion, or other lands like the American Waterfront or the Mediterranean Harbor, both of which are at Disney Sea, which is why, S.E.A., Disney Sea, it's where it started. And S.E.A. was doing good. They were spreading around the globe, people were fans in America and Japan, but then 2016 had to happen, and amongst a bunch of other things, Shanghai Disneyland opened.
Today is a celebration of creativity and collaboration, commitment and patience, a triumph of imagination and innovation. Together we have created an extraordinary destination. Here, East meets West, the past meets the future, and anything is possible for those who believe.
Anyway, here's just the craziest Pirates of the Caribbean attraction you've ever been on, and a Tron roller coaster where you sit in a light cycle, so go crazy with that. Shanghai featured the biggest castle of any of the Magic Kingdom style parks anywhere in the world, and it didn't just belong to one princess either, like Cinderella Castle at Walt Disney World or Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland. No, this castle instead belonged to all of the princesses. They all got to share it. It also has a ride in it, like Storybook Land at Disneyland, just not with miniatures, so what's the point? Shanghai came packaged on opening day with 7 different lands. Mickey Avenue, which is sort of our Main Street USA meets Toontown. The Gardens of Imagination, which is our hub, just bigger, Fantasyland, Treasure Cove, Adventure Isle, those last two being sort of an amalgamation of Pirates of the Caribbean and Adventureland together, Tomorrowland, and Toy Story Land. We want to focus, though, here specifically on Adventure Isle. We're focusing specifically on one attraction in Adventure Isle, though, sort of an amalgamation between like an extreme parkour course and Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, and that is Camp Discovery. Now, Camp Discovery is its own unique thing. You won't find any attraction like this anywhere else in the world. I mentioned it's sort of similar to the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail at California Adventure, or if you like, the Boneyard at Disney's Animal Kingdom in Orlando, except it's that, but way more extreme. They trust their guests way more here because there are high ropes courses. Three different high ropes courses. There's also a walking trail, like the Redwood Creek and Boneyard, and an excavation site play area, which is just, yeah, that's found at Animal Kingdom. But the high ropes courses, that would be so fun. So fun to do. Disney, bring Camp Discovery here. Bring it to Animal Kingdom, put S.E.A. in there instead of L.O.A., and we've got yourself a deal. The story of the camp is as follows. For millennia, the Arbori people have called this lush and beautiful island their home, living in harmony with their natural world. When, in 1935, an expedition of the League of Adventurers was blown off course and discovered Adventure Isle, the peaceful Arbori welcomed them, and it turns out the tribe was just as curious about this intrepid band of scientists as the scientists were about the Arbori's customs, artifacts, and natural surroundings. Okay, so there's the backstory for Camp Discovery, but what about the League of Adventurers themselves? Is it tied into the society? Do they have members that bounce between the two? What is it? Where did it start? Now I gotta preface this by saying the League of Adventures is only present in one park, Shanghai Disneyland, so we have a lot less to work on when it comes to L.O.A. versus S.E.A. We'll start with some known members of the League. We have Cooter Carter, who I am just going to be calling Carter for the rest of the video, Kiki Giannapalo, Mariana Trench, Ollie Ostrin, Oshsindfree, Charles Muntz, and Preston B. Whitmore. Now, two of those names may sound familiar. Charles Muntz is the villain from the Pixar movie Up, the guy with all the dogs and the blimp. I thought the League of Adventurers was full of respectful scientists, but I guess we all have our high towers. And Preston Whitmore is the old man who finances the expedition to Atlantis in, Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Now this is good. We have two characters from two Disney movies. From here, this helps us establish connections to S.E.A. Tying back to this monstrosity, Doug is in Ratatouille, Hal is also in Ratatouille, Hal is in WALL-E, WALL-E is in Star Tours, Star Tours has Leota, Leota's part of the Haunted Mansion, and so is George Hightower, brother of Harrison Hightower, member of S.E.A. You're welcome. Or if you want a bit of an easier connection, we can look at this bulletin board at the entrance to Camp Discovery and see that the L.O.A. helped Indiana Jones discover the Temple of the Crystal Skull, which is an attraction in Tokyo Disneyland, but that's not important. What is important is that Indiana Jones himself is also a member of the S.E.A. So these two groups have absolutely collaborated and crossed paths in the past. So there we have the connection to Camp Discovery and Indiana Jones, Temple of the Crystal Skull, and the Forbidden Eye. They're in the same storyline, although I think they're different. But does the League of Adventurers connect to any other attractions? Is it featured in the Jungle Cruise, or maybe somewhere in Tarzan? Well, I guess nothing features in Tarzan's Treehouse anymore. And there's one other attraction that we know of that's in the American parks that the League has taken part of in the story, and that is Expedition Everest. One of the members I mentioned earlier, Carter, helped develop a fixed rope traversal system, or FARTS for short. Yeah, you'll find the names with the League of Adventurers are just a bit on the nose. Carter used his FARTS to help him navigate through the Himalayas toward the Forbidden Mountain, where he and his expedition group were attacked by none other than a disco-dancing Yeti. It doesn't come in handy anywhere in any attractions, but he also invented a diving bell he called the Cooter in a Can, named after himself, which he used to go diving in Lake Baikal in Russia. I guess he was doing something there. I don't know. In 1932, they commissioned a new submarine called the Odyssey that would embark on an expedition to Atlantis for Whitmore Industries, and it is after this expedition where Professor Whitmore decided to go public with what they had found down in Atlantis 18 years prior during the events of the movie. So Atlantis does fit into the S.E.A. saga, and everyone knows about it now. I guess it's just common knowledge in the world above that the whole underwater city of Atlantis is a real thing. I mean, it shouldn't surprise me with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Journey to the Center of the Earth. I guess at this point in time, and by the 1960s, people are just pretty used to living in this land full of myths and legends and ghosts and pirates and whatnot. It also means that the sequel isn't canon. Something interesting that I discovered for the Epcot fans out there, the blimp that the L.O.A. originally designed that crashed at Camp Discovery was called New Horizons, and the submarine that was used to go back to Atlantis was called the Odyssey. So, I mean, two Epcot names. Those are two Epcot things. Probably just a reference to the names of those Epcot institutions, but you never know, we could see them build a rocket ship and name it Living with the Land. The options are endless. Now, the last thing of note that we know that the League of Adventurers had their hands in, along with the local Arbori people of Camp Discovery, they established a rafting route up Mount Aputaku to the lair of the Karak. Now, if you hear me say Karak and that sort of rings a couple of bells, you may know I'm talking about the Roaring Rapids ride at Shanghai. Now, Roaring Rapids is the Grizzly River Run / Kali River Rapids rafting ride equivalent for Shanghai Disney, featuring the giant alligator-like dinosaur, the Karak, who is apparently poised to be a mascot of Adventure Isle, but I don't know how that's doing over there. A rumor is, I don't know if I can confirm this officially, but he's gone full Disco Yeti. The animatronic for the Karak has stopped working, and now it's more of a motionless figure. I guess that's just what Disney gets for creating giant animatronics just all the time, just having them go completely still and then forcing them to dance in the dark with a strobe light forever. Disco Yeti and now Disco Karak. Now, if it feels like we're flying sort of loosey-goosey by the seat of our pants here, that's because we've covered about everything when it comes to the League of Adventurers so far. All the tie-ins with Atlantis and Up, and then different attractions at Shanghai. Not too much going on quite yet, but that's because they are not as old as the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, both in-universe and in our world. S.E.A. has had a longer time to sort of set down roots, and people love it. People are really into S.E.A., including me. That's why you can find it all over the world, and the League of Adventurers, you might not have even known about them before this video. If you didn't, make sure to let me know in the comments, because, I mean, they're pretty niche. But, again, they are from a brand new park, so they might just be beginning. Either that, or, like the Karak in their park, it will die a very slow and quiet death. But I hope not. They sort of fill the same niche as S.E.A., but done a little bit differently. They're not the globe-trotting adventurers that the S.E.A. is. Instead, they are actually more of a secret society. They're more quiet, they're more reserved when it comes to their expeditions, and they have a member named Cooter Carter, so I'm not sure that's something you want to be blasting out to the world. Perhaps one day, with an expansion to Shanghai Disneyland, or maybe even another park, we'll get a drop tower ride with a member of L.O.A. being the owner. Or hey, even simpler, Shanghai doesn't have a jungle cruise. Let's just start with that. Build just a regular jungle cruise in Adventure Isle, but instead of being run by Alberta Falls, it could be run by, not that guy, Mariana Trench, the oceanographer and geologist. Their version of Soaring Over the World, Soaring Over the Horizon, also has tangential references to the L.O.A., although it's more about the Arbori people, which, I mean, is good and all. I mean, the Arbori are nice, but, I mean, we got Patrick.
Hello.
So what's next for the League of Adventurers? Will they get their own sprawling, high-budget Disney Plus TV show like the Society of Explorers and Adventurers? Probably not. But they will continue to grow over the years, I think, if they prove to be popular in Shanghai. S.E.A. started in Tokyo, and now it's all over the world. You never know how big these things can get. And people love the Society of Explorers and Adventurers because it's an original Disney Parks IP. It's like the Haunted Mansion or Pirates. It's not based off of any particular movie. It's sort of an amalgamation of all of them. And I think they can really tap into that same love for original Disney Parks ideas with the League of Adventurers as well as the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. Who knows? Maybe they will pop up in the TV show as sort of an offshoot, an off-brand, maybe a clone or a dark side rival to the S.E.A. I don't know, but I am excited to find out. So, will the lore grow, or is this the end of the line for the League of Adventurers? Are we only going to get Camp Discovery and Disney's just going to sort of move on from that storyline? I honestly don't know. I could go either way on that, but what I do know is that I loved learning about the League of Adventurers. I didn't even know it existed a couple months ago. And please, if I forgot anything having to do with them in this video, let me know down in the comments below. I'm always down to learn more about the L.O.A. and the S.E.A. What other attractions do they have connections to that I may have missed here? And would you like to see something like Camp Discovery come to the American parks with ropes courses and trails to wander and things to do, sort of like an extreme version of Redwood Creek? If you do, what are your thoughts? Where would it go? What would you like to see it themed around? And why is that theme S.E.A.? Because everything always ties back to them. Every time, everywhere, doesn't matter what attraction. The S.E.A. is eternal. Hello everyone, and welcome to the end card for this video. It's a bit shorter than my average fare, but if you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit the like button. And if you're new around here and want more videos like this revolving around secret societies that you may or may not know about in the Disney parks, hit the subscribe button. That was a very long-winded way of telling you to subscribe. A very big thank you to all of my supporters over at patreon.com. My patrons are the ones who help keep the channel chugging along like a well-oiled machine, and if you would like to join their ranks, even just $1 a month will get you access to most of the perks. Like, for this video, they got a 4-minute sneak preview before you all did, before you're watching this. Unless you are a patron, in which case, go check it out. It's on the Patreon page. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, because you made it all the way through this video. I suppose just stay tuned for the next preview on the Patreon page. I also have other social medias you can follow me on. I am at Offhand Disney on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I upload all new different sorts of content to all 3 of those places, things that you don't get on this channel too much, especially on TikTok. That's unique, exclusive Offhand Disney videos that you will only get there, so I highly recommend going and checking it out if you're a fan. And now, prepare yourself for the next couple of weeks, because I know maybe not all of you are Epcot fans, and I've been doing a lot of Epcot videos recently because Epcot is Epcot. I think next week we'll have probably a Disneyland-centric video, and then after that, it is full-on Cosmic Rewind time. I hope you're all ready because I'm extremely excited. Pray for me that I get a boarding group on opening day. If not, I might have to bite the bullet and buy Genie Plus. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.